Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian podcast, episode 135. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and more. Today, we are talking about Princess Peach Showtime, Marvel Rivals, Spider Within, and more. But as usual, we're going to start with our recent activities. We'll let Damian take the floor.
Yeah, so after playing like two giant ass JRPGs, honestly, I kind of burnt out of like beating games, like single player games. And I just need to like play some multiplayer stuff and like just chill with a stream on the other monitor. You know how it is. I'm just I can't. I'm just like, I need to let my brain rot. So I just resubbed to Final Fantasy 14. I was just doing some daily stuff, just doing dungeons, catching up on content I missed. And it's been great. I love Final Fantasy 14. I don't know if I said that enough during this podcast, but Dawn Trail is coming out soon. They showed the release date during PAX East, I believe. Yeah, it was PAX East panel, and of course, it's coming out the weekend. I won't be here, so I'm like really cool, but that's still fine. I kind of like everyone was saying it was either going to be that weekend or early July. I'm like, I really hope it's early July, but it's not. But that's whatever. But so 14 is a really great time. I've been really enjoying the expansion and just catching up on all the stuff I've been missing because the game releases last year was insane, and this year as well. So I haven't been able to really play like any 14 too much. So it's nice to just go back into the swing of things, do my daily and weekly shit, and just have a good time. Same goes for Hearthstone. I've actually been playing like a lot of Hearthstone like the last like year. Well, this year, so the last like 3 months or something. I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds, which is like the auto chess version of Hearthstone. I think I've explained this before. But yeah, Battlegrounds is a lot of fun. It's basically like an even simpler version of like all the other auto chess formats. Like usually you would have. It has the same structure, but you have like minion factions and stuff, and you could upgrade your minions if you buy like 3 of them and they combine into one of them. So a lot of the same mechanics apply. 8 players. If people buy the minions you need, it's out of the loot pool or whatever. All that stuff is still the same. But in Hearthstone, there's no items. Like in TFT, so there's no items that you have to worry about. While there are the minion factions, they don't really have like set bonuses. So in TFT, you would be like, oh, if you have like 2, like, I don't know, fucking Yordles, you get like +2 speed. I don't know what it gives you, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Hearthstone doesn't have that. Like they have the factions, but the cards kind of like play into each other. So if you have a bunch of Murlocs, you could summon one that gives all your other Murlocs like +1/+1 or something. So that's kind of how it works in this game. So yeah, it just leads into a bit more of a simple gameplay loop. You could pick a random hero at the start, and there's like a shit ton of heroes, like 24 different heroes or something with a different hero ability you could do. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but kind of adds to that randomness, which Hearthstone is kind of like known for at this point. That's why I don't really get mad playing that game because there's just so much RNG. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy Battlegrounds a lot, and I actually been getting back into normal Hearthstone again as well. Like this last week, I just had a bunch of gold laying around, which is like the in-game currency you can use to buy packs. And I opened up a bunch of packs of all the gold I had. I'm like, you know what? I can make a deck. And just playing ranked again. I've been winning a lot, and it feels good. I'm like, I don't know. Hearthstone just scratches that itch, and I haven't really had that like card game itch in a while. But me playing it again, it's very satisfying. Again, like I said, a lot of RNG, a lot of bullshit you can't really predict, but it makes it a little less. For me, it makes it less angry to lose, just because it's like, oh, I died to some bullshit, whatever. But yeah, I've been having a really good time with Hearthstone again, so that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And next, I watched Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, and I think this movie has been, some critics are like, oh, it's like not that great, and then the audience really likes it and stuff. It's one of those movies. I agree with the audience. I fucking loved it. I'm really easy to impress with Godzilla, and I think there's a point to be made with -1 came out early or late last year, and then this movie's coming out this year, and saying, oh, yeah, Godzilla shouldn't just be like giant monster fights, like it should be deeper than that, or Godzilla needs it to fight another monster, that's why like -1 isn't as good or whatever. And I think Godzilla really exists in both camps. Like he could kind of be like a more symbol of destruction, metaphorical type beat, I guess, what the original Godzilla did, what Shin Godzilla did, and what -1 did, and it works super well. Like you have a really strong human cast that are able to carry that movie, and when Godzilla shows up, it feels like a real, like a horrible event that's happening, and that stuff is great. Like -1 probably is the best Godzilla movie. Like it's super good. Same thing with Shin Godzilla as well. However, the MonsterVerse movies just takes it in the other direction, where it's like, okay, you like most people remember Godzilla for him fighting stupid monsters and just having a good time and stuff, and the human plots don't matter at all. And I think that's what the MonsterVerse movies, that's hard to say, do really well. Yeah. And that's kind of the Godzilla I grew up with anyway. Like I grew up with like Godzilla just fighting a bunch of monsters. Like who gives a shit about the humans? Have a good time. And I personally think each MonsterVerse movie gets better and better. Like I've been enjoying each one more and more because they keep adding like, all right, here's more monsters, here's just more monster scenes, like no humans at all, and it's great. And I think in this movie it works even better just because the the main enemy are like a bunch of Kongs, and you could just emote them a lot better. So there's like some scenes that are like at least 5 to 7 minutes where there's literally no humans at all. Like it's just Kong doing stuff. And I think it works really well because it does like its non-verbal storytelling really well. The monkeys are really expressive and stuff whenever they're doing stuff. I think for once the MonsterVerse made an actually really cool original villain, since I think most of the villains they make are kind of lame. Like the Muto in 2014 was like whatever. Like most of the villains are from Toho's own catalog. So like King Ghidorah was cool because he was very cool. But all the other monsters they make are usually kind of lame. Scar King was pretty cool though. Like I liked his design. He was pretty threatening. I think they could have had one more fight in the middle. There was only like really 2 major fights with him, and there's a bunch of fights in the movie, but there's only really like 2 with him. I think they could have used like one more in there. But besides that, it's a really fun movie. I mean, you get what you get, right? Like it's monsters fighting each other. Like you're not gonna get anything too deep. Like there's some cringy human stuff, but it's like whatever. Like I'm there to see the monsters kill each other. And I'm glad Godzilla could exist in both camps at the same time. Like I'm excited to see what Toho does with wherever they go with -1, and I'm excited to see the next MonsterVerse movie because they both scratched that itch of Godzilla, and I'm just happy he's doing super well. Like I think they made like 200 million in the box office or something crazy like that. So clearly people love these movies as well. So I'm really happy for it. I had a really good time watching it. And last, I have Princess Peach Showtime. So we both have played this. I believe Travis finished it. I don't know how far I'm in. I think I'm like I beat 3 bosses. I beat like 3 bosses, so I think floor 3.
So you're now on the 3rd or 4th floor, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like, I would say 60, 70% through.
Okay.
Yeah, because the basement floor was the last thing I had to do because I forgot that was like a thing. But
no, I was doing those as well.
Oh, okay, then you're good.
So yeah, like Princess Peach Showtime, I think is really fun. It kind of reminds me a lot of like Kirby's Epic Yarn or some of those other games where it's like yes, it's like easy, but it's not really like meant for that. Like I think the game's real strength is kind of its presentation and just how it goes about its level design. So it has pretty interesting level design where it's like really like show PC, right? Like it's like here's all these cool things happening in the level. You go through like a little story within each level, you get your power up, you do the thing, and then you win, right? And I think it's really fun to play through those levels like one time because you're like experiencing that sort of like a play basically, which is kind of what it's going for. I think the issue is like if you want to get more collectibles and stuff, because I don't like replaying levels isn't as fun because you already know all the scripted events that are going to happen, and it does not like a lot of movement tech or anything, right? Like you can't exactly go faster and make the level go faster. So it kind of just feels more of a slog if you try like 100% it, which I was trying to do at first, but maybe now I won't because I'm just like I want to just like play the levels because I think they're all fun. Like I think. All the power-ups at least the ones I played through have been pretty fun. Like Mighty Peach is fun. You just like pick shit up and throw it. Sword Fighter, I think is a lot of fun. Even ones I didn't think would be very fun, I actually ended up liking quite a bit. Like I actually liked Detective Peach, at least the first level I did with her. Like, this is kind of fun. Obviously, it's like baby's first, like, find the thing. But I don't think that's a problem. Like I think people... I think it's kind of where you find your enjoyment in video games. Like I could appreciate what a game is trying to do while it being difficult. I know some people need difficulty for a game to be fun, and I enjoy difficult games as well. But I can also appreciate when a game is kind of just trying to do something creative and like just kind of fun. That's why I like Kirby games so much, right? So, and this game kind of gives a big Kirby vibe as well. And yeah, I just think the levels are fun to go through. I just don't think they're too fun to go through more than once. Also, I think the game looks really good for a Switch game, but the performance does kind of get shaky after some points. Like, I do see a lot of frame rate drops and stuff, but the presentation is very nice. And yeah, overall, I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm excited to see through the end.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very much a feel-good Nintendo game. It's not meant to be hard or difficult. This is pretty much meant for, E10 plus or whatever. That's what it's rated for. And you have these kids, especially young girls, who have never had a Princess Peach game come out within their lifetime, and they're very excited to play this game. And it's like, okay, yeah, like we have this game now, and it's pretty good. I mean, obviously it's not supposed to be hard, it's not supposed to be super difficult, but like even for myself, there were some levels where I was getting to like the very last heart. I was like, I'm kind of like being reckless here, like, whether it's because
same.
whether it's because of like rushing through the level or like actually like genuine like challenges ahead of me. Like there's certain things about this game that you will find very, very easy, and then other things where you're like, oh, like I need to like pay attention more, be a little more precise with my platforming and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it is very, very good. You have, I believe, 10 costumes that you play through, and they all play differently, even though they are very much slightly different. They all play differently. They all have their own different gimmicks, mechanics, kind of thing. And it's fun. It's a feel good time. I think the boss fights are definitely a strong point, just because after playing Mario Wonder, where it was literally just Bowser Jr. over and over again, getting this game where it's just like every single boss is a different character, a different sort of pattern, sort of gimmick that you have to follow. The final boss, not going to spoil exactly what it is or what you're going to be doing, but I think that was like the easiest one out of all of them, surprisingly. But still, overall, I have really enjoyed my time with Princess Peach, and I can recommend this game if you are looking for a game like Kirby, something that's just a feel-good, fun time, something that you could sort of just like turn your brain off, just have fun doing, little mini games, platforming here and there, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I saw someone bring up on Twitter too. Is it kind of cool that since this game, it's for everyone, but mostly like smaller children. It's kind of cool, like it kind of brings in a bunch of different genres, so it could kind of introduce like younger audiences to like, hey, this is what this type of genre would be like, or this is what this is like. And I think that's really cool, and I think it does all those things pretty well, as well. Like I really enjoy like the Thief Peach, like that was fun with the grapple hook. I really like the cowgirl Peach as well. Like I think some of those levels got kind of hard too with the the auto scroller ones. Yes. Like, oh shit. Okay. Like you said, I kind of got reckless because I was kind of like underestimating the game. Like, oh shit, I'm about to like die. Like not. So but yeah, it's a really good time. I think if you're interested, like you said, in something like Kirby, or if you have like maybe like a smaller child or something, then I think this is a perfect game for them. So I liked it. So yeah, as a 26-year-old man, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot of fun. And you could also customize Peach and also Starla. I forget exactly what
the ribbon thing.
Yeah, I forget exactly what the Star Ribbon girl's called, but you could customize them sort of how they look, and all of the designs. They look nice. I'll be for real. I think I was using, I think it was like the city pink dress, because I was just like, hey, Peach is pink. They do have like other colored dresses and whatnot, which, if you want to use those, you can. And they do reflect in a majority of the cutscenes as well, which, just like on the presentation side of things, yes, it doesn't run as well. When the loading screen happens, it's like chugging like really hard, which I found to be very funny. But another thing was just like the voice acting. Like the voice acting is like pretty good, even though it's very much just like her just saying like one line things or whatever. I thought that it was like a nice touch. This is a Mario Nintendo game we're talking about, so most of the time anyways, you're going to be reading text boxes and sort of like what the characters are saying. But for like what the presentation, sort of what it is and sort of how the game looks and plays overall, it was fine.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and next podcast I will give my final thoughts on it. But yeah, I think it was a good time. It's a good original game. Like to see it, love to see it. So hopefully Peach gets more games after this. So.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully Peach gets more games, maybe even other side characters as well. Maybe bring back the Wario Land games and whatnot.
Yeah,
I know
that'd be sick.
People love those. But and then I also watched this movie called Immaculate. This is a horror movie with Sydney Sweeney.
That's the only thing I know about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you go on the Wikipedia page, you can actually see that like the movie went through like a lot of like development hell. Like I think she auditioned for it in like 2014 or something like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and then like obviously like she went through a lot of things. She got on Euphoria. She worked with Sony on with that rom-com movie, and I think she worked with another studio to go and get this movie actually made it and everything like that. So, she really did like this script and sort of what this movie was trying to tell. But it's pretty much about Sydney Sweeney's character. She becomes a nun because she doesn't really know what she's really doing with her life. And she was like, maybe God has a purpose for me here. And then some really weird and interesting things happen. That's all I'll really say. There are a lot of body horror elements. There's blood. There's, violence and all of this other stuff that you would see from a typical horror movie. It's only an hour, 30 minutes. So if you really want to, just like see a quick one at the movies, go for it. It is obviously April now, so probably not the best time to see a horror movie if it's not Halloween, if you will. But I think that this one was a pretty decent ride, for what it is and sort of how long that it was. I think that some people thought that it should have been longer because it does have like a very like interesting world that it's sort of like building within like this one place. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like I could see that. But I think that for what the film is, like, I think it's fine. And then the next thing that I finally finished was Gen V. I recommended this to my girlfriend because we only watched, I think, only 2 or 3 episodes. And then I was like, let's continue watching it. And then once we started watching it, we just didn't stop until we finished all of it. But yeah, I mean, it is a very good spinoff for The Boys. Obviously, it's pretty much just like set within that same universe, but instead it's following a bunch of high school kids at this gifted school with a bunch of soups, and they're all trying to learn how to become a superhero. Yeah, pretty much. And it is very good. Every single character has their own arc and sort of their own story. They're all really interesting to follow. Even though some characters you may think are sort of one-off characters that you won't see for a while. If they keep popping up, you're going to see them a lot, and they're done really, really well. I just want to... excuse me. I just want to touch upon Chance Perdomo's passing because that was very sudden. We finished the series, and then I think a few days later, it was announced that he got into a motorcycle accident, and he unfortunately passed away, which goddamn sucks. And now they're delaying season 2 indefinitely, which is totally understandable. He was definitely one of the biggest strong points for this season, and I wonder how they're going to move on with the next season. But you know what, do what you got to do, take your time, pay your respects more, and do all that shit, because it's just he was only 27, and it sucks that, especially since I feel like he was just getting his career started, because obviously he's been on other things, but I think Gen V, along him and his other cast members, this is their big breakout role, if you will. So it sucks that he's gone. And to those people that are trying to cancel him or whatever and say that he was following X, Y, and Z person on his social media accounts on his Instagram or whatever, I'm just shut the fuck up. It actually doesn't matter what he believed in, whether it was true or not, because it's just this guy's dead. He should not be dead at the age of 27, no matter what sort of beliefs or sort of what his views are on social media. But I'm gonna stop there. But yeah, Gen V's very, very, very good. And hopefully, if you have watched The Boys and you haven't watched this yet, go out of your way and watch it. Moving on from there, I have been playing some other games, so I guess I'll get to those first. I've been playing MicroWorks. This is a party game where it's pretty much a free game. Everyone can download it. I think the party size is up to 16 per lobby, which is crazy. Jesus. But pretty much you guys are all doing quick mini games, and they get faster and faster.
WarioWare, right? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And only one person needs to buy the $10 pass to host the lobbies, which is fine. So we were playing that with the 4 of us, and it was pretty chaotic and a lot of fun. You really do have to lock in and pay attention to what the hell's happening here. But yeah, games go by quick. It's pretty much, like Damian said, WarioWare mini games and really, really fast, just on your computer. Next game I've been playing is Content Warning. This was another party game that I played, but is also kind of spooky. So it's not necessarily the same thing as, what was the other game, Damian, that you were talking about?
Lethal Company.
It's not exactly like Lethal Company, but it's pretty much just you guys are trying to go into Spooksville, is what they call it, and you guys are trying to film spooky things that are going on in there. So weird monsters, creatures, your friends dying or whatever. It's a lot of fun. It definitely has a different angle from Lethal Company, in the fact that if you survive that day, you get to go back and actually relive all of the footage that was captured, whoever was the camera person that day. So that's the element that I really like about it. And obviously when you upload the videos, depending on the amount of views, you get money, and with that money, you could get like boom mics, you could get more flashlights, all of this other stuff, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. We only really played it after April Fool's because it was free on April Fool's, and I believe the base game is like less than $10 anyways. But for what it is, I mean, like, it is pretty fun if you want something that is adjacent to Lethal Company with like a slightly different angle, but still has like that sort of spooky horror jump scare element to it. Content warnings is definitely that game. I don't know if it's gonna pop off as much as Lethal Company did, but we'll see. It really all depends on if streamers are actually gonna pick it up and play it with their friends, because that's usually how these indie games work, where it's like, you know, it could be like a hidden gem for like years and years and years, just like with Among Us, and then once people actually start to play it and sort of figure out the meta or whatever the hell is going on here, then that's when the game becomes popular.
Yeah, it all depends on what the streamers do, honestly.
Yeah. And then the last thing I've been playing a lot of is TFT. Set 11 has come out, and I'll be honest, when I first started playing, I was absolutely dog water. I was getting so mad and frustrated because I was just like, what is going on with this set? I have no idea what's going on. But now I have a better idea of what's happening. And the set itself is a little more structured and less chaotic in some regards, but at the same time, obviously, you know, there's now a meta forming with like a Story Weaver, even Umbral, and some other things going on there that are like really, really strong. I've sort of found my little niche. You know, if you find Story Weaver, you got to go Story Weaver, because that's like a guaranteed top 4 kind of thing. And then the other comps that I've been running is anything with Aphelios. I think Aphelios is like a really strong, just like carry, and I feel like not a lot of people go him. So I most of the time I'm able to like 3-star him and whatever. But I started off like legit like bronze for like a solid week, and now I'm like gold 3 or whatever. So, you know, so far so good. But yeah, you know, TFT new set. I think that is always like the most exciting time to get into TFT again, is when the new set happens, because literally no one knows what the fuck's going on. But now people are sort of figuring things out and sort of what's good and what's bad, and they've already released it, the first patch to like sort of nerf and buff things, because people were running a Bard comp that was like really fucking annoying. And depending on how you hit it, how early you hit it, you could like easily get top 4, but other times you could like bottom out too. So, you know, give and take kind of thing. But yeah, you know, if you want to get into TFT, you can still get into it with this new set. Just do it sooner rather than later is all I'll say.
Yeah, very, very fair. Then meta game starts. I probably should play more TFT. I did enjoy it. I just I felt like the item system always spooked me, but like whatever, I'll just get over it.
Yeah, they've definitely made it a lot more user friendly, where like if you right click on items, you could see what items build into
That's
what,
nice.
and sort of like what the recipe is. Because even though I still have like a second tab open to like see like what like comps were when I first started playing, now most of it's like in the games, so they don't want you to do that, but obviously people will still do that to a certain extent. But yeah. All right, so now let's get into the general news of things. First up is probably the biggest news from the past 2 weeks is Marvel Rivals. We got a brand new sort of Overwatch clone, but with Marvel characters. It's actually 6v6, which is kind of interesting. And you have a bunch of Marvel heroes sort of doing a Overwatch style game. And I mean, it looks good. There were some controversial things coming out where like people said that they previously worked on this game and it was like the most weird and messed up project that they've ever worked on. It was really bad work conditions and they didn't get paid or whatever. But, you know, I hope that those people are able to get the justice that they deserve. You know, but for the game itself, I mean, I think it looks fine, you know, for like what it's going for. I don't think it's doing anything spectacular or whatever. Obviously, Spider-Man Twitter went on, you know, their little keyboards. It was talking about how the goddamn suit looks bad or whatever. I'm just like, it looks like Spider-Man, right? Then it's Spider-Man. I don't care. But yeah, I mean, I think the game will do well as long as the gameplay is actually fun and somewhat balanced.
Yeah. I mean, it's by NetEase and they kind of suck in terms of like monetization and stuff. So we'll see. I mean, I'm down to like try it. Like, you know, it's free, so might as well. And it's going to be interesting to see how sort of like, you know, I mean, it's like an Overwatch clone. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays like in third person, because it's like in third person. Like I saw someone said like Bruce Banner is going to be like Diva because he starts as Bruce Banner, then turns into Hulk. So that's kind of funny. No, but it'd be interesting to see how the gameplay actually works, since it's supposed to also be like team up attacks. So if you're like playing as Iron Man, you could team up with Hulk, and he could like shoot radiation out of his hands, and then you get a powered laser beam. So it got some interesting stuff going on, and I think the graphics look pretty nice. Like I think a lot of the designs look pretty good. Like Black Panther looks cool, Iron Man looks pretty sick. So I guess we're just gonna have to see. I mean, that Gundam game, Gundam Evolution, I forget what it was called, that Overwatch clone that also came out a few years ago. Like people actually like that as well, but I also shut down because these games usually don't last very long. But all I would say is I will try it out. Probably don't spend money on it though. Probably not a good investment. But it looks fun. I mean, I'm always down to try these like hero shooters every now and then. And you know, if it could be like the call outs would be like Spider-Man to your left, like. It'd be kind of funny. I know we see that in Fortnite already, but you know, it'll still be funny. So
yeah, I just find it very weird and strange that it's only taken, I guess, like Marvel in particular, the song to really capitalize on just like the gaming space as a whole. Obviously, you know, with the success of the Spider-Man games as of late and some other ones that they've done here and there, you know, it's kind of weird that they're actually going full on with this project in particular and sort of making like a PvP 6v6 third person shooter game. And yeah, I mean, I hope that it at least plays well and functions, you know, properly, but obviously we're just gonna have to wait and see until it actually happens, because, you know, like you said, games like this, it's kind of hard to sort of break into the niche of people already have with their live service games as is. We've talked about this time and time again, but yeah, you know, like people have like their like 2 to 3 live service games, which is like already a lot as is, and to sort of have people break out of those games in particular and sort of new one in is always going to be tough.
Yeah, especially with the hero shooter genre. I mean, like Overwatch basically killed like every single hero shooter that almost came out. Like the only way you could really stand out is if you were like some other genre, like, you know, Rainbow Six Siege is more of a tactical shooter. Same thing with Valorant. Like I wouldn't really characterize that as a hero shooter, even though you have agents. Like it's more of a like CS:GO. Overwatch kind of like killed literally everything else, like Paladins. I know it's still around, but like Battleborn got fucked as well. So we'll see how this one does, because I mean Overwatch 2 doesn't have really great graces with like anyone right now, so maybe it could break in and see how it does. But again, Overwatch still has like, I mean, at least to me, I feel like it still has really solid gameplay. Like I feel like no matter how fucked up Blizzard would be with like certain stuff, like they do know how to make like a genre. They know how to break into a genre really well and like basically like capitalize on it. So we'll see what happens, but I won't put too much stock on it. Just play it and have fun when it comes out. That's basically what I'm gonna say. All right, so next we got a leak here. So Sonic Toy Party got leaked. So this is like a mobile game, Sonic game that's gonna play like Fall Guys. So you're gonna have a bunch of little Sonics running around. It's gonna be like Fall Guys, and you know the title thing looks like Toy Story, which everyone keeps bringing up. And you know, people are like complaining, being like, "Oh, like it looks so baby," and like, "Oh, Fall Guys is lame and stuff." But honestly, I'm like, I wouldn't mind if it was on like PC or something, because like I like Fall Guys, and having like a Sonic themed Fall Guys kind of sounds like fun. I don't know, like I'm down for it. I know some people get really pissy about like anything that comes out that's not like a mainline game or whatever, but it's not like Sonic Team is like making this. I don't think it's like some other company, so like who cares? Like, just have fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool, I will admit. You know, I think that Sonic as a brand has obviously transcended as of late because of the movie and sort of Sonic Frontiers and everything like that. So for them to make a Sonic Toy Party Fall Guys game, I mean, I'm down for it. It's obviously going to be on mobile, which I think sucks. But like you said, if it was actually on PC, I honestly would see me, you, and our friends trying it out just for the fun of it. Yeah, because it's like, oh, look, you know, we're doing Fall Guys activities, but with a Sonic theme on it. Obviously, Sonic and Co. are in Fall Guys themselves, but, you know, just to have, like, I guess, the Sonic skin on top of, like, literally everything, I think that that's a lot of fun. But, you know, no official announcement yet for this, so this might be, like, a super duper early thing that they're working on, but I wouldn't be surprised if this comes out sometime later this year.
Yeah, maybe they might align it with like the movie or something. I don't know, but you know, gotta get that brand synergy and shit. Yeah.
All right, so next bit of news we got here is over 100 contractors at Nintendo of America have been laid off. So I guess they are the last of the big three to be hit with layoffs as a whole. But it seems that they are moving away from a large part of their playtesting team, and they're sort of just laying them off no matter how long that they've been here. Some have been there for over 10 years, sort of making sure that games are running properly and, making sure that the games meet up to the Nintendo seal of quality, if you will. But it sucks that these people were affected by it, even though they weren't necessarily full-on employees. They were still contractors. They were still getting paid by Nintendo, but they are giving them severance packages for them being affected. And they also said that Nintendo seems to have no new first party games testing right now, so they're probably getting ready for the Switch 2, which is kind of interesting. So I mean, obviously it sucks that these people got laid off, and I hope that they're able to find some place in the games industry if they want to stay in it, or somewhere else where they could pay the bills and actually live. But yeah, I don't even know what the fuck I'm trying to say here, but yeah, it sucks. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it probably doesn't help that the Switch 2, there's so many rumors about the Switch 2 lately. Like, it was supposed to come out this year, but they're delaying it just so they have more games for the thing to come out, which is a smart move, in my opinion. Like, I think launching a new console with games probably is a smart idea, but it probably is impacting a lot of current workers right now because there's, like, no work to be had. Also, kind of kills the rumor that a lot of people were hoping Metro Prime 4 would be, like, one of the last Switch games, but at this point, I think it's going to be a Switch 2 game. It might be a cross-gen game, I don't know. But either way, it sucks that all these workers are losing their jobs. I mean, I think we talked about it like maybe a year or two ago when Nintendo doesn't really treat their contractors super well to begin with. So that kind of sucks. But at least they're getting like some nice like severance, I guess. That's always, at least something, right? But again, this year and last year keeps the ball rolling of like so many layoffs and so many awful things for the AAA like space. So I guess we'll see when it ends. Hopefully it ends soon. Like if it keeps bleeding out, like I said before, like we could definitely see like a AAA crash, like I said before. But that's just how it is, I guess, right now. The gaming industry is really volatile. A lot of companies are at the moment just because of the huge boom COVID provided, and now people are back to work, and they're not seeing those huge profit margins like that we had during COVID because people are actually working and not just playing games. So yeah, it just sucks. So not even Nintendo was immune to it. So
yeah.
All right, and speaking of other things I thought were dead, so Saber Interactive CEO says the KOTOR remake, so there's Knights of the Old Republic, is still alive and well. So, this was announced like fucking forever ago. I don't even know when this was announced. Oh, 2021.
Yeah.
So it was announced in 2021. We got like the Revan, he was just like, oh, look at this, and then it's gonna be a remake, and this has went through hell. It's been like dead. It's been paused. It's been revived again. Aspire was making it, I think, and then they weren't. So it was like a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. I don't even know who's making it anymore. The best, like I know Saber said, but like I don't know if like what company in particular. But either way, hopefully this does happen. But even when games go through so much shit like this, it's like, is it gonna be good? Like probably not. Which sucks because I was really hoping for a KOTOR remake to like be good because I heard nothing but good things about it, but the gameplay just feels so fucking old to me. Like it's really hard to play. So I was really hoping for a remake that really just modernized the combat system and just makes it just more available for newer people. But at this point, I'm not really holding my breath that this is gonna come out, or if it does come out, it's probably gonna be like shit. So but I guess we'll see. Miracles happen, so we'll see. Hopefully it's good, but I'm not holding my breath on that.
Yeah, I mean, this remake has, seen multiple headlines, anything related to not the game coming out. It's sort of nothing has ever been concrete about this game other than the fact that they're making it. We don't know what's happening with it. People were very excited when it was first announced, obviously, because Knights of the Old Republic has a really huge soft spot for a lot of Star Wars fans and people that have played those games back in the day. So the fact that it was announced that, hey, we're going to remake it for PS5 and PC is like, okay, cool. And now it's like, well, we don't know what's going on with it. It's in development. It's out of development. They don't even know what the hell they're doing with this project anymore. And, there's more about the game's development sort of development hell than the game itself, which is kind of crazy. But if he says it's still alive and well, then hey, you know what, we don't have much else to go off of as of right now. But all we could hope for is that this remake actually does happen at some point within our lifetime, and people are actually happy with the product that does get delivered, because obviously we did see what happened with the Battlefront Classic Collection. That was very much like a simple remaster, and they somehow messed that up. Obviously this is a full-blown remake, so there's going to be a lot more work, a lot more time put into it to make sure that it actually does do well and actually meets fans' expectations. When that will happen, who the hell knows? Me and Damian might be 60 years old at that point, but hopefully it's sooner rather than later.
Yeah, hopefully it just comes out, but we'll see.
All right, so the last thing we want to talk about is The Spider Within, a Spider-Verse story. So I think a lot of people really forgot about this, and then I saw it on Twitter where people were like, do you guys know what happened with this thing? Is this going to come out? And then I think like literally 24 hours, Sony was like, all right, we're going to drop it on YouTube tomorrow for free. And I was like, all right, cool. It looks like they also kind of forgot to release this for us. But hey, you know what? It's here. It's on YouTube for free if you want to watch it. It's only 7 minutes long. But it's pretty much about Miles Morales going through a panic attack and sort of him going through the anxiety and sort of the responsibility that he holds within his own personal life, but also just trying to be Spider-Man. And it is awesome to see them make a movie like this, or sort of a short film like this, that really does sort of showcase it in a very tasteful way. Personally, I haven't really experienced like really super duper bad anxiety or sort of sleep paralysis or anything like that. But just by reading the comments on the video, it seems like that people are like, yeah, you know, like this is pretty accurate. So I'm glad that this sort of hit home for some people, and also it was just done really, really well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I never also had a panic attack. Like I never had one that bad. I also never had like a sleep paralysis stuff. Like I never went through that. But just from reading the comments, it seems like a lot of people like agree like that's usually how it is. Like, I read a lot of things about that, like how it's just like a dark silhouette and just like looking at you, which is like super creepy. Like the visuals are really great. And I mean, you could say that about any Spider-Verse project, but I think they really nailed how creepy and like helpless you feel during that whole experience. And I think they did a great job with it. Again, just in this tiny little like 7-minute short, I think they did a great job sort of like expressing all the emotions it wanted to. You know, from Miles talking to his dad's like, I don't want to like I don't want to hang out right now, to him having the whole panic attack and be like, you know what, maybe let's talk about some things. Like I think it was a nice little story that really like, you know, ties into not just Miles, but just like basically anyone, right? Like obviously we can't relate to like being Spider-Man, but we could relate to all the stress in life and like how it's good to just talk it out sometimes, start holding. I mean, I'm a victim of that. I don't like to talk about a lot of things, but you know, it's nice to like let it out sometimes to someone, so you don't like fucking explode. So you know, it's really nice. I mean, I like, again, I don't have like horrible panic attacks like that, but I could, you know, empathize with the anxiety and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, you can still relate to a certain extent to what other people are going through, even though you haven't gone through it yourself. And yeah, I think that the film really did a great job sort of showcasing that. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of rewatching it right now, and I think the moment Miles walks in, I think the lady on the TV is actually going through that. There's like a black silhouette, I guess, of like the killer, and then I guess that sort of reflected within his sleep paralysis sort of moment. But yeah, I mean, very well done. I'm glad that, you know, they made this in particular. And, you know, whenever Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, you know, I'll wait 5 years or however fucking long it takes, because I think that's how long it took between 2018 and 2023, right? Something like that. So, you know,
crazy how they wanted Beyond the Spider-Verse to come out like now, like like a year to make that movie. I'm like, there's no way. I'm so happy. Like, it's gonna take 5 years. Like, I don't know what they thought it was gonna be. Oh no, next year it'll be done as well, because we're working on them at the same time. When they're like, no, it's like we barely finished Across the Spider-Verse. What are you talking about? So yeah, but I'm happy this adds another great addition to the sort of Spider-Verse sort of saga, I guess. And I think it does a good job with Miles' character, like they've done with all the other movies. So great watch. You know, if you want to watch it. If you have like arachnophobia, like probably like don't. Because I was just like, God damn, I could only imagine if you were like horrified of spiders. But yeah, it's a great short film. I really enjoyed it.
All right. So is there anything else you'd like to add, good sir, to this very short Travis and Damian podcast
very
episode?
Short one today. Not a lot of news. But yeah, no, that's everything I have.